Hello there, I'm Gary Foster and welcome to episode 21 of What Price Victory. In today's episode, we'll be pitted against Brisbane City, who are a Queensland Premier League team, in the first round of the FFA Cup, or as it's more correctly known, that's the round of 32. So we've got an away game against Brisbane City, and we'll just have a quick look at our schedule. The next game that we have is the opening game of the regular season, where we're home to Wellington Phoenix. So there's about a month gap between those two. So after this game, I'll be playing a number of friendlies and probably come back for the opening game of the regular season, because as you can see after that, we've got our Asian Champions League semi-final first and second leg coming quite quickly together against Guangzhou from the Chinese Super League. So those two games will probably be an episode in themselves and seen in isolation. So as you can see, the games are coming thick and fast. We've had a couple of friendly games early on, which were basically to get to know a few trialists that we had got in, because we've had a little bit of staff turnover. So we were able to defeat Bulleen Lions and our rivals, other Premier League rivals in Melbourne Knights. We beat them 2-0. We've had, as I mentioned, we've had a little bit of staff turnover. Callum McManaman has left the club. I should actually take you into the transfers for that, transfer history. Callum McManaman has left the club. Marco Rojas, being a great servant for the club, he's gone to Denmark. He's gone to Denmark, and we've signed Connor Metcalf in as an advanced playmaker, and also we've got an offer in for George Timotheo, who's a ball-playing defender and got quite nice stats. But we had him and Metcalf in on trial, and Timotheo has had a contract offered to him, but our crosstown rivals, Melbourne City, have also offered him a contract. So he's going to be... he's got some choices to make. We've sweetened the pot by offering him a bonus to if we win the Asian Football Championship, but he's yet to get back to us. Right, so that brings us on to our game today. As I said, it's an away game to Brisbane City in the FFA Cup. Playing with a mixture of youth and experience today. Max Crocombe, who played well for us during the close season, I've put him back on the bench reluctantly. This Jared Collette is a youngster, and I just wanted to have a look at him in this particular game. We've got Gastede up front. He's coming back from injury as well, and we've got Shotton, Ansell, Sporanovic and Traore in defence. Pretty familiar looking defence. We've got Barnett, Metcalf, our new signing, and Teague. Teague's playing as a central midfield role rather than a defensive midfielder. We've got Cruz and Italiano, our attacking players out wide, with Gastede up front. Cruz isn't happy with me because he wanted a 50% pay rise for a new contract, which the board wouldn't allow, and I wouldn't allow either. So he's having a little bit of a tantrum with me at the moment. So we'll play through it. He's still got 2 years on a contract, so we'll just see how it all pans out. Okay, so we'll submit that team. or pump fist to encourage. Ooh, don't like any of them. But let's be assertive rather than... We'll just change the gesture a little bit. If I play our game, we'll win. So, as I said, this is the FFA Cup, where we are expecting a win over Brisbane City, who, not to be confused with the Brisbane Lions, who are... Brisbane Roar. Wrong code. Brisbane Roar, who are our A-League rivals. Brisbane City are a Premier League team. So we need to encourage. And highlights are very few and far between. But here we go. With City roosting the ball upfield. Ansell clearing up at the back. Collette with a bit of time. Metcalf played well in the trials, which prompted the new contract. Italiano, who had mixed form in the trials. I must admit, I've been torn between keeping him on the bench and punting him altogether. He's quite a frustrating player. There we are. So, Metcalf on the ball. Good ball through to Cruz. Weaves a bit of magic, gets a bit of space, and there we go, Gastede with the header. Okay, good old Rudy. His star rating doesn't belie the fact that he scores a lot of goals for us. He was instrumental in or has been instrumental in our run in the Asian Championship. But if you have a look at his star rating, you wouldn't think he'd rate a mention. And I briefly toyed with the idea of looking overseas for a replacement striker, but as you can see, he delivers the goods, and there he is again with a header just over the bar. So run by Traore. Italiano knocks it onto Teague. Interesting to see how Teague goes in a more advanced role, but Italiano getting behind the defence, and what can he do? He sort of scuffs the shot. He's a right-footed player, so coming in, thought he could have done a little bit better, but anyway. Okay, Teague on the ball, lobbed over to Italiano, nods it on to Gastede, who looks like a toe poke. He just put it wide of the post. So we're certainly dominating the game, I think. Just with the highlights. So Jacob, what can you do? Don't get tackled there. No. Barnett gets the ball and Italiano makes a bit of space for himself. Gastede's come back. Shotton with room. Teague with time. We're supposed to be playing wide, but we seem to be going through traffic in the middle. Guys, we're supposed to be wide attacking. Cruz has come in. Oh well, you're there, you might as well go. Oh, hits the stanchion. Or the crossbar. Okay, all the numbers are in our favour, so ideally I'd like an extra goal to show for our dominance. Don't know whether anything's happened in the close season where I've said to focus our attack down the centre, but I've tried to get wide attacking players to utilise that space. But there's Gastede with a great finish. Yep, I think Gastede has sent a clear message to me to say that those that import from Zagreb's not required. Yeah, a lot of space in Gastede. Right, so Brisbane City yet to have a shot on goal, so defensively we're set up quite well. I think Teague's been relishing the being up front or being more forward in this particular game. Might be playing with the flat 3 midfield rather than a defensive midfield. Certainly food for thought. Okay, Traore's come up from the back. Gastede on the ball. Back to goal. Traore again. Lobs over. Nods over to Cruz. Oh, welcome to the goal feast, Robbie Cruz. Yeah, it was disappointing losing McManaman, but yeah, it just didn't work out. But hopefully we can nurse Robbie Cruz through a season without being blighted too much by injury. Shotton's also been a great player for us as well. But he doesn't seem to be in a hurry to get back to his right back position, so Ansell covers. Switches the ball to Teague. Ansell again, bring it forward in space. Teague again on the ball. Now Traore, can he get it across? He can. Italiano, looping header. Always going to be difficult to beat the keeper from that angle. Maybe time to dump a little bit of praise on them, just to let them know that I'm still here. Get all the green smarties. That praise is more for the defensive effort. It's ideally, in the attacking end, I guess. We've certainly dominated the play. The board aren't terribly fussed about how deep we go in this competition. There we go, Gastede with his hat-trick. Oh no, what? I thought that was in. How did that not go in? Okay. I went off a bit too early there. There he is. I was only out by about 15 seconds. So, first half hat-trick to Rudy Gastede. So he's certainly hit the decks running, so that might have earned him a half-time rest. So Italiano with the corner, Gastede with the header. No one on the near or far post. So Brisbane City, they pay the price. Look, I think those numbers pretty much show how much we've dominated the game. I'm delighted, and I think that Laurie Latenzio can come on for Gastede. He's earned a rest. Birkin Kerdar, he's another interesting player that we've brought up from the youth team. So I'll be looking to give him a run later, and Nishikawa as well. I actually might bring on Nishikawa now instead of Traore, because he's going to be back. Let's try that again. So undo. There we go. Nishikawa for Torore. Undo. Nishikawa for Torore. That was a lot more tedious than it needed to be, so apologies for that. So it's when you're trying to put too much attention into a game, you're better off just letting it run through, I think. But anyway, we're up for the second half. So 4-0 to the good guys, which is nothing less than what I'd expect. The challenge is now to get through the game without any injury, anything silly. Well, on the attack, they've sort of cut us to pieces there a bit. So Nishikawa, he had a couple of runs with us during the previous season when Torore was out with an extended injury. So acquitted himself reasonably well without setting the world on fire. So short ball into Metcalf, square ball to Italiano. Metcalf having a good game. He must be having a lot of touches on the ball. So maybe time for a little bit more praise. So fitness will no doubt come into it. I'm a little bit hesitant to make my third substitution with just around about half an hour to go. Be looking at Robbie Cruz's fitness levels. So Laurie Latenzio, see what he can do. Cut inside the defender. Oh no, he does the shot. Okay. Stung the palms. Well done. Had a couple of loan offers for Laurie Latenzio, but I'm going to be using him more and more, I think, this campaign, because it just seems to be rolling all into one. There hasn't been a close season or a holiday period at all coming up. So juggling fitness, I think, is going to be our primary concern. So subs coming up. Whoops, just pause. Okay, it's not ideal because I didn't bring a wide attacking right. So not ideal there for Skiri to come on. But he's a youngster, so I'll just give him a bit of a run, even though he is out of position. Frustrated by the feedback. All I was doing was encouraging them. Okay, so looks like we can't improve on our halftime score, but at least we've got through the game without any injuries. We could be happy enough with that. Good win, well done. And we continue. Okay, so just go quickly into the inbox. Victory meet with Dominant Cage. Metcalf impresses in his Melbourne Victory debut. Yes, he did. And Gestede was on form with a first half hat-trick. Okay, so that's the FFA Cup put to bed. The round of 32 at least anyway. So if I go to the scheduling, the next draw is coming up in 3 weeks' time. So that draw will be made during the week. And I'll probably come back for the FFA Cup, because there's then a gap of 2 weeks to the opening game of Phoenix. So look, we'll come back for the second round of the FFA Cup because we might be drawn against an A-League rival. And then we'll play it by ear as to whether it's a Guangzhou Asian Cup double. That might be the way to go. So let me do a little bit of admin, and we'll come back for the second round of the FFA Cup. Okay, so here we are with Melbourne Victory's next game in the FFA Cup. We've been drawn against Logan Lightning FC, who are a Queensland National Premier League team, and that game will be coming up later today. But since you were last with us, just go back to our schedule. We've had 2 offline friendlies, one against Green Gully and the other one against Pascoe Vale. Green Gully was a good game. We scored 2 relatively good goals, whereas against Pascoe Vale couldn't really threaten the goal. Their keeper made a few good saves, but for a National Premier League team, we would have expected a victory with that particular game. Still in all, we've also been busy in the transfer market. It's such a disjointed start to a season because we've got friendlies interspersed with Asian Cup games and FFA Cup games. So we've been into the transfer market and we've picked up Connor Metcalf, who's a midfielder. He's a young Aussie guy who came to us after he'd been released from Central Coast Mariners. So we picked him up. Press gave us a bit of a serve because they reckon that we've got too many midfielders like him, which I slightly disagree with because I'm looking at maybe playing a flat midfield 3 more often than not in this particular season. Jay Baghulu, brought him in from Crystal Palace. He's a young Aussie who's a central defender, got some good stats, can jump almost out of the stadium, very determined, and we think he'll be a good young player. And Marko Brikic came in from Dynamo Zagreb. He's a striker, and I wanted to put a little bit more pressure on Rudy Gastides and Louis Latanzio as well. Moving out were Marco Rojas, which was a bit disappointing, but already he'd signed a contract with the Danish side. And then after the transfer deadline had closed, for some reason, we got this bid in for Haraj, who's he was playing, likely to be playing more and more back in as a right defender, but they came in with a pretty good bid for him, and he's off to Holland. Also, our released players, Callum McManaman, who I couldn't re-sign. Matthew Sporanovic, I released him when I assigned my other central defender. And Jeremy Cox, he also left when Brikic came in. Steve Forsyth was a bit of a surprise because and this is probably my blue, he was 17, and I thought that players playing for the 23s and under weren't necessary to be registered. But unfortunately he's now left us, so not ideal. On top of that, I've got the cranky pants on with my director of football, who's buggered up a few extension or re-signing of contracts with players, including Matthew Acton, who, despite playing all but 2 games last season, offered him the position of backup keeper, and he rightly refused it. So that was that was a little bit disappointing. So with that, let's go and have a look at the squad that'll be playing in the next round of the FFA Cup against Logan Lightning. Okay, so here's the squad for the game against Logan Lightning in the FFA Cup. Got Acton in goal, Nishikawa, Ansell, Baghulu and Broxham in defence, Brimmer, Metcalf and Barnett in a flat midfield three, Lawton out wide on the right, Taliano out wide on the left, and Laurie Latanzio, who's deputising for Rudy Gastides, who's been called up for international duty for Benin. So that's the team that'll be taking the field. Let's go and see how we go. Kick-off. We're favourites for a reason. Let's play a natural game. Don't really like any of those. Let's just go and see how we can get on. Every cup game, as you know, it can be a bit of a banana skin. But Nishikawa's picked up an early booking, which I find surprising. But anyway, Brimmer with a corner comes into Laurie Latanzio, who grazes the bar. Okay, another corner with Brimmer whipping it in, and Italiano seemed to be unmarked. He's not a terribly big lad, better known for his ducking in from the left with his right foot. So how did he get space? He was just unmarked. There's two Logan City defenders there, so yeah, a bit slack in the defensive setup there. Okay, so we want more than one goal, guys. 11 shots with 6 on target, so we're reasonably accurate. Maybe a bit more of encouragement. And they're all frustrated or uninterested. Probably goes double for me, Gungadin. Okay, Logan Lightning with a goal kick. Ooh, okay. Yep. Brimmer and Lawton with a good interchange. Can Lawton skin his man? No, checked. And loses out. Okay, back pass. Ansell, strong in the air. Italiano out to Nishikawa. Italiano needs to push forward. Not Nishikawa's going. Okay. Crosses with the right foot. And there we go. Lawton ghosting in on the far post. Nice goal. Nice goal. It must be extraordinarily hard to do because Italiano's a right footer. He checks himself. Very awkward to do. Very awkward to do. But that's FM for you. Okay, so 2-0 up. I'd rather been 2-0 up than 2-0 down. And Metcalf. Went to Barnett. Italiano again. Oh, skims then. skims the ground, hits the post, bounces in off the keeper for an own goal. So is Italiano claiming that? He can claim all he wants, but I think that'd be definitely down as an own goal. Italiano, Matenzio cracks it, bounces just in there. So yeah, unlucky keeper, but that's the way the mop flops. Okay, so all are playing well, so the trick will be to get through the second half. Give them a little bit of praise. Guess Italiano had to take the shot for that mistake to occur. All playing well, so I'll just give them a little bit of praise. And here come the green Smarties. A couple of youngsters there in Zayden Bello and Ben Butler on the bench, so I might give them a little bit of game time. If I don't have to bring Robbie Cruz on, I won't. But Varga, he can play in a central midfield role, so I'll bring him on. And Bello for a run. Keep powder dry for another 10 or 12 minutes. Looks like Lawton and Italiano are crashing out. Italiano's picked up a booking. Wide on the left, Yaya Dukali. And that will be the end of it, so we can get through in the last few minutes. Job done. Just wait till this highlight goes through. So Logan Lightning on the ball. The quarterfinal draws are also going to be will also be made after this game. So, thought he got behind us, a bit too easy there. So he's been offside. He's out a screenshot. Yeah. So the quarterfinal draw is being made shortly after this game, so we'll see who we play, and that'll probably be an episode 21 wrap. And with the draw, we'll just find out what our schedule is going to be like, because these FFA Cup games are coming thick and fast. So Acton makes himself big. Well done. And Zayden Bello clears the ball. Okay, so Logan with the ball. That should be all there is, and there ain't no more. Okay, so a 3-0 win. I think we'd have to be okay with that against a lower league side. And we'll just see quickly when the draw will be made. We can view that draw. There, Gold Coast United, National Premier League, Lions, Western United, Newcastle Jets, Perth Glory. They're all A-League teams that are going to be drawn against each other now. So Adelaide. So it's going to be a big blue, not a big blue, but a Melbourne Derby quarterfinal. So there you have it. So clash, go into our schedule. And the FFA Cup quarterfinal against Melbourne City is coming up Okay, not for a month or so. Okay, I was a little bit surprised with that. I thought they might be getting them through sooner rather than later, but the draws chop and change so much, because last year the FFA Cup final was played, I think, the week before the season proper kicked off. So look, that's an FFA Cup double for you. I'll be looking at probably playing the Wellington Phoenix game offline, and there's a Wellington Phoenix double, so we might come back, well, we will come back for the Guangzhou Champions League semi-final first leg. We'll play the other Wellington Phoenix game away offline as well, and we'll come back for the Guangzhou second leg. So that's the plan, Stan. I'm Gary Foster. Thank you very much for watching What Price Victory, and we'll catch up with you shortly. All the best now.